So we're still working on this week's bedroom series using common household, uh, what we have available to us to stretch while we're at home. So today we're going to work on the feet. Most of you have done foot exercises with me, so a lot of these will look familiar, but we'll talk about some of this as well. So we're going to be stretching our calves, our ankles, and the bottom of our feet. So the feet, because we use them so much, are often warm enough to work on these. So I wouldn't roll out of bed maybe first thing in the morning and work on stretching the feet, but it's probably safe most of the rest of the time. So the first one we're going to look at, I think you're going to be able to see in the mirror behind me as well. I'll try to angle a little bit. So this might be a little uncomfortable to you, and sometimes it takes some working up to. All of our feet are a little bit different. Just notice when you do this, you want your ankles pretty close together so that you're not sickling. That would stretch a different part of the foot and ankle. So we are trying to get our toes tucked under and our ankle bones together. So that should stretch the bottom of the feet. So obviously this is helpful for everyone, not just dancers. And as we rock back onto our feet here and drop our heels, then we're going to get more of a stretch in the calves. So we've done some of this where you lift the heels all the way up. Not sure if you can see in the mirror. Your heels are going up, so you're stretching the bottom of the feet and you're dropping your heels towards the ground, and that will stretch the calves. And you can try doing that a few times. Like I said, try to keep those ankle bones close together. Don't overdo it, right? A little bit at a time is best when stretching. If you do overdo it, my best suggestion is ice. Ice it, stay off of it, keep it elevated, and should heal up in just a couple of days. So after you've done that, I think it feels good to actually sit on your heels. Again, you don't want the ankles too far apart where you're all sickled, right? You want the ankles closer together, right? And this should stretch the top of your arch. Now, your feet are a bunch of bones and muscles like the rest of your body, and the more you work them, the more flexible they get and the stronger they get. So, as a dancer, for instance, even if you start out with not very flexible feet, you can improve them, which is the good news. Okay, so now we're going to stretch the calves in a different way. We're going to grab the foot like that. So these knuckles right here are going to go right there. You're going to be pulling those toes towards you. Again, not too aggressively. You're stretching your calves, right? I'm just doing it on both feet at once. And I think it's a good goal to try to keep your shoulders lifted, because now you're working your back too, right? Kill two birds with one stone. If you're here, you're not really working your back. If you're here, you are pulling those back muscles down towards your belt, and you're working those back muscles. If you want to try a little balance here, just for fun, you can tip back, right? And then the more advanced version, right? You're going to stretch your legs, right? As much as you can, right? And then the super advanced, right? You may try to, but this is like more of a core exercise. And what we are trying to do, this is getting into strengthening your hips as well as your feet. So we'll get to that another day. We'll just stay on the feet for today. So those are some foot stretches. hopefully you can see I'm stretching not only my arch, but also my toes. And remember, I don't want to do this with my toes. I want to keep this part of my toes, the underneath part, nice and long, because there's lots of muscles there that we're trying to build up. So we just stretched the calves. Now we are stretching the top of the foot. Make sure when you stretch the top of the foot that the foot is this way and not sickled, right? So you really get the stretch in the same way as it would look when you're pointing your feet. So a lot of times we use the phrase point your toes, when in actuality, if you've been my student very long, you know I want you to point your feet. So I want the arch to be completely extended and then the toes to be an extension of the arch. So you can work on that by just coming up on your half point here, and then with just a little bit of weight there, you're working those muscles. Kind of like push-ups for your toes, right? Yeah, so you can stretch those arches in a couple of different ways. This way we've talked about much easier on carpet. So if you're on a hard floor, you might need a mat or a carpet underneath you. And then making sure that you're not sickling the feet. You can lift the knees up for a little further arch stretch, right? Yeah, so a lot of the other things we do are foot massages, and I'm going to do that in a separate video. So these videos are short, they're like 5 minutes, so I'm hoping that you can bunch them together based on the space you have available to you today. I think the important thing to remember with all of this, the more you practice, the better you get. Okay.